Hi everybody, I'm just getting ready to make a sign for my nephew's wedding that is next weekend, and I'm going to do one of those Scrabble piece signs. And I just wanted to make a video of step by step what I do. Pardon the absolutely no makeup and absolutely no people here today except for a grandparent and a kid and a husband. I found a bunch of boards that we had out in our barn that are, see, there's them, aren't they just stinking adorable? Okay, these boards are 3.5 by 1,000,000 feet long, and I need these Scrabble pieces to be square, so I'm going to do 3.5, and then I'm going to do 3.5 this way. And I was just playing with my torch and seeing what the burnt looked like, see if I can get away with that instead of doing stain. So now I'm gonna just make my marks for my cuts, and I will come back after I've got them all cut. Husband is helping me with the cuts. Go husband, go husband, go. And my other helper's over here. Hey guys, so I got the rest of the blocks cut yesterday, and then I also went around them with some 120 grit sandpaper just to curve the edges over and, you know, make it a little bit less lethal. I didn't do anything with the backs really because they're just gonna hang them on the wall. I just took, if there were big splinters, because our blade was hecka dull, I went ahead and took those off. So now I'm just burning them. So here's one that is burnt with the torch, and I think I'm going to go ahead and do this route instead of doing staining because I just think it looks pretty darn rad. I've only burnt myself once so far, so score. So anyways, like I said yesterday, it's just my torch and just picking which veins I want to really darken and which ones I don't really want to hit. And it's really pretty cool to see how it happens. These sides where the blade went through, they're definitely not smooth, so they're not taking the burning very well. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm gonna leave those like that. I don't think it would be that terrible up on the wall, but I'm just not sure. And that's how I tend to look at stuff when it's done. Oh man, would I be embarrassed if this was hanging on my wall? On a side note, I tend to do a lot of this type of stuff outside because my house is not very big. So to be able to spread out and do stuff like this is a little bit tough. Plus there are always some little hands that could accidentally get hurt. So I don't play that game. Out here, I have the garden hose handy in case I, set fire to the yard or anything crazy like that. I say I really like how these are turning out, if you can tell at all. Find a sunspot through my shade tree. Go a little bit. It's almost like it's giving it a semi-gloss finish. I think I really like it. Okay, so here's another great thing that I found. When you come across the end of the wood that you're working with, a lot of them have the lumber stamps on it. So with staining, if you're using a lighter stain, you really just, you don't use that end because it's kind of tough to get rid of unless you want to sand first and then stain, and not that much of a go-getter. So with the torch, you can literally just burn it away. That's amazing. I love it. I'm a fan of burning. Burn it. Okay, here you go. That's all of my letters that I need. What I do now, I get them all laid out. There's a couple right here, just a couple of extras because inevitably I will screw one up. What I do is just kind of take a look at all of them and make sure that there isn't one that's burnt a lot lighter than the others. Typically it would be stain, you know, but make sure that they're all happy, looking alike, because this is one joint project. It's not multiples, and they all look pretty dang good to me. So I am very, very happy with that. I'm a Scrabble letter, almost. So this is my stencil. I use a 651 Oracle vinyl. I don't want any muss or fuss. I don't want any leaking. I don't want anything. So I gave everybody their own stencil. I think the letter is big enough. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. Maybe bigger would have been better, but this is what I did. So this is what I'm gonna stick with. On the stencil, I leave a little line there to connect this blurb in the middle of letters like P or B or D or O. Just so when I'm done painting and I pull up this vinyl piece, I can just touch up those teeny little lines instead of having to touch up, you know, the middle piece and try and stay away from it. And I will show you the process as I go so you'll understand what I mean. But anyways, this is my stencil and I'm going to start painting. Since I'm hoping that they will hang this inside and not in the garbage can, I went ahead and did a interior paint. I'm gonna put some lacquer over the whole thing anyhow to, you know, keep the burn looking good and just keep it looking really nice. So I went with the cheaper paint on this one, and this jar should last about 1,000,000 years. Then I have a little sponge dabby brush. Oh heck, you can buy them anywhere, or you don't even have to use these. I've seen people use makeup sponges, I've seen people use paper towels, I've seen people use their fingers. You can do whatever the heck you want because you're not getting too fancy pants here. You're literally dabbing some ink, brushing off the excess because you don't want there to be a ton on there. And then coming back to the letter and dab. And you just want to do a decent job, you know, make sure that you get it in all of the cracks and crevices. This particular piece I'll probably go over the paint probably 2 or 3 times just to make sure. I mean, a Scrabble letter, that paint is thick on there. So I want this to be the same way because, man, we've had the same Scrabble set for 1,000 years. Whoops. You want to be careful with that because, you know, it doesn't go all the way to the edge, Jamie. Yeah, so I'll clean that up later. And that's, I think, maybe the other cool thing that I like about burning the wood is any accidents like that, I can just burn them. Burn them. Okay, so there is my first coat. Literally, that is it. We're going to do a couple more coats. I'm not the person that's gonna wait, you know, a day and a half before I do another coat. I'm probably gonna do it in a half hour. So this is all of the letters with the stencil. Again, it's just the 651 vinyl, and it's pushed on real well around the edges. And I'm going to do the dabbing sponge again. So here is the next day, and I'm just peeling all of my vinyl stencils off of the letters. And some of them have turned out really great, and some of them will have quite a bit of touch-up to do. That's just the joy of crafting. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with how they turned out. I probably could have let them dry a little bit longer, but I'm impatient, so this is what I have to work with. So this is what I was talking about with leaving this little line on these letters. That way I don't have to come in here and do this, the insides by hand, just while peeling the stencil, leaving that little line. See how it worked its way in? And now we pull up the inside as well. So then the only part that we have to fix is taking our little fine tipped paintbrush and filling in that little line there. We don't have to come in here and do all of that by hand. So it really saves so much time doing it that way than doing it all by hand. I have my coworker here. Hey kid. Now, I'm just taking a super fine paintbrush and touching up the spots that need filled. I only ended up with 3 that were absolutely perfect, so I have a lot of touch-ups to do, but you know, that's, like I've said before, the joy of crafting. You don't want everything to come out perfect. That would be too easy. So it's just some patience and some time to come in and make the lines a little bit more crisp. If you even want the lines a little bit more crisp. If you want it rustic looking or a little bit funky, a little bit different, leave it like that. Just come in and repair the parts where the stencil came out. If you want to leave this 3 all jaggedy, leave that 3 all jaggedy. It's up to you. So I brought my letters outside to spray my varnish on them, but I realized I had some spots where I got a little overzealous and painted over my stencil edge. So I went back inside and I grabbed my torch, and I'm just going to touch those up and burn over them, and then I will hit them with my varnish. This is the varnish that I'm going to use. It's just my tried and true. I pretty much use it for anything, even though it says oil, acrylic, and watercolor. I mean, I use this on wood, I use it on plastics, I use it if I want to preserve a piece of grass. I mean, I use it for everything. It's really rad stuff. So I'm just going to spray over these letters so I can preserve the burn and preserve the paint and just make them last a bit longer. Here's one of the other cool things about the lacquer is that it gives it just this sheen, shine. This one, no lacquer. This one, lacquer. No. Yeah. Chicken shoes. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in for these videos. I've done a separate one for the picture and a separate one for the Scrabble pieces, and bring it together into one big gift for them for their wedding. The reason I did both, I was originally just going to do the Scrabble letters, but there is a big giant hole. That's all my eyes see is that big giant hole right there. So I went ahead and decided to do the picture on wood also to just kind of bring it all together. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Everything went pretty well. Aside, you know, this piece was definitely a learning experience. Days and days of learning experiences. And the lights are pretty dark right now because if I turn them on, they just go off of the glare. So I'll leave them on for the rest, I guess. I really appreciate you guys tuning into this. Give me a like, give me a share. I'm trying to grow. I have a homestead out here. I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I just have different avenues of stuff I'm doing out here. I craft, I hang with my kid, I garden like a madman. So my videos should be pretty eclectic, to say the least. But anyhow, for this one, I'm very happy with how it turned out. I really hope that they like it. If they don't, it's gonna make some gnarly fire starter because there's so much lacquer and varnish on here, it's gonna go up real quick. Thanks, guys.